D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? And have I got a story for you? Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can read them for yourself, or you can just sit back and watch this video where I'm going to read them to you. Also, before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started, you guys? So it looks like Warner Brothers is going to be suspending some deals over because of the strike. And I have to be honest with you, I'm not unhappy about it. I'm kind of like, this is probably a good choice. All right, let's read this article from Variety, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it afterwards and during and stuff. So this says, J.J. Abrams, Bad Robot, Greg Berlanti, Mindy Kaling, Bill Lawrence, and more overall deals suspended by Warner Brothers TV. And those are those three. That's J.J. Abrams, Mindy Kaling, and Greg Berlanti right there in that picture. The triple threat of bad TV. Okay, so it says Warner Brothers TV has suspended overall deals with more of its A-list marquee producers, which is believed to include Greg Berlanti, Bill Lawrence, John Wells, Chuck Lorre, and Mindy Kaling, as well as J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Shingle. I want to talk about all three of those people that were pictured in there. But yeah, okay. So it says some of those names, including Wells and Lorre, had their deals suspended months ago, early on in the Writers Guild of America strike. Others had shows in various stages of post-production when the work stoppage began, May 2nd, where were kept status quo while episodes were completed. The latest, because once they're done filming, they can complete it, they can edit it and all that stuff. They don't have to wait for writers and stuff like that. Anyways, the latest news of suspensions comes months after Warner Brothers TV, along with Amazon, HBO, Warner Brothers TV, NBC, Universal did. Okay, anyways, and other major struck studios already hit pause on some first look and overall deals amid the ongoing writer's strike. So it says those suspensions took place in May, soon after the WGA strike began, and didn't include producers who still had shows in production. This was before SAG and AFTRA also went on strike starting July 14th. But for more than 2 months after the WGA went pencils down, some actors were still on some sets finishing productions on projects with completed scripts. Some writer-producers also doubled as DGA, that's Directors Guild of America, members and directors on their projects, because the DGA sealed a new deal with the horrible acronym, and has not been on strike. Those duties have still been allowed during these recent months. And yeah, the Directors Guild of America, they signed their deal like right away. They didn't even negotiate. It looked like they just signed, and they were not standing with the writers, because remember, the writers were going to go on strike, and the directors, the head of the Directors Guild, the head of the Writers Guild, and then the head of the Actors Guild were all together in one picture. And they're like, we stand with you and all that bullshit. And then they were like, we stand with you, as they signed their deal. But production has been almost completely shut down since SAG and AFTRA joined the Writers Guild of America members on the picket line in July. Once talent is no longer able to render services, the policy is generally to suspend deals. Such a deal suspension is different from overall terminations, which so far have not been widely seen in the industry, even though the writer's strike has already passed 90-day mark, when historically deal makers have the option to kill agreements in the face of an act of God, the common show business interpretation for how the phrase force majeure applies to these types of labor shutdowns. I'm not going to, let me read this last one because it's only 2 paragraphs. Overall deals typically pay overhead for the writer's company and fund the development of projects. First look deals also provide financial padding and in return guarantee the studio or company has favored nation. So what that is saying is basically like, okay, so if you sign an overall deal with a studio, they will pay for you to have they will pay for first looks. So they get first look at anything you want to produce. So let's say I want to produce a show about a dad with 2 kids, but he's a superhero. Okay. They would say they could either pass on it and but they get the first look. So they get you go to them and you say, hey, do you want this show idea that I have? And they say, yes, we want it, put it in production, and we'll give you this amount of budget for each episode. And then, or they say, no, we're going to pass. And then you can take it to another studio. But also what they do is they pay for you to have offices, usually on the studio lot, and they pay for your offices and they pay for, your staffing of those offices. Usually it's not a huge staff, but staffing of those offices. And they usually pay for, they give you a little bit of money so you can go out and let's say you read a book and you're like, oh my God, this would make a great movie. Then they give you a little bit of money so you can pay for the rights to that book. So that's basically what an overall deal gets you and everything. But so I'm not going to read the rest of this because I'm pretty much just talked about this. So I want to talk about, wait, it mentioned Bad Robot, I think. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, okay. It did mention Bad Robot, but we're going to talk about this. So these 3, in my opinion, losers right here. Okay, so you have J.J. Abrams, Mindy Kaling, and Greg Berlanti. I'll talk about Greg Berlanti first because I think that Greg Berlanti, when he first started out at Warner Brothers making these superhero shows, I think he was doing a good job. When you had Arrow seasons 1 and 2, fabulous. So freaking good. Flash season 1, kind of season 2. Season 2 was pretty good too. So we'll give him season 1, season 2. Fantastic. Loved him. It was then after that stuff started to go downhill in quality, in writing, in acting, in every sense of the word, because it just went downhill. And I don't think that Greg Berlanti was involved as much as he was at the beginning. And I think that was a problem. So I don't feel bad if his stuff gets and suspended. Everything is suspended. No, none of these people have gotten their deals terminated, which means they're gone. And they could pull a force majeure like they did with the last writer's strike. There was a bunch of people where they had deals with them and they were just like, we're sorry, you force majeure. This is an act of God. We are just going to we're going to pass. We're going to say, we're just going to cut ties and we're just done. And I think that especially with these 3, they should do it. They should. I mean, maybe they could keep Greg Berlanti on, but they'd be like, Greg, we need you to step up because the next writer's strike, you're gone, fucker. So I think that he could make a good product. Now, as far as Mindy Kaling goes, what a useless person. I'm sorry, but Mindy Kaling, in my opinion, is not a good actress. She's not a good writer. I don't find her funny. None of her shit's good. I'm sorry. Did you see the Mindy Kaling show? It wasn't good. It wasn't good. I mean, she was kind of good on The Office, but let's be honest, she was a secondary character on that show. I mean, she had like maybe a couple of lines every episode. So big whoop. That's fine. But the Velma show was pure fucking trash. It was dog shit. And I'm sorry. If you love that show, obviously you have no taste, but it wasn't good. And she wrote that show. And I think she voiced I think she voiced Velma, which I just go, okay, she got herself some more money. I'm sorry. She's a useless talent. I mean, she's mediocre, and that's me being generous. Okay. As far as J.J. Abrams goes, J.J. Abrams is the bane of Hollywood's existence. J.J. Abrams, and I'm telling you right now, they put a pause on his stuff before this, I believe. They should get rid of him completely. I think they should sue to get their money back because they paid him, what was it, $500 million for him to produce projects at Warner Brothers, and he literally has done nothing. All he does is sit there and be like, hey, I got an idea for a cool Constantine show. And then nothing happens. It never goes forward. None of his shit has come to fruition. He's a terrible writer. He's such a hack. He's the worst science fiction writer I've ever seen in my entire life. He just sucks balls. He's terrible. He's not good at the job. I just think I think he's just terrible. And Bad Robot sucks. They everything they put out is mediocre at best also. And again, that's me being generous. His Star Trek sucks. Or his, well, I don't think he does Star Trek himself when it comes to the shows right now, but he like taught all these people, like Kurtzman, he's a protege of JJ Abrams, and he told them, just find something and copy it, just change it a little bit. But his Star Trek movies sucked. He's terrible. All his movies, I mean, his movies can be good, but I mean, like, so what? He just sucks. I'm sorry. I think JJ Abrams is just a terrible everything. So I would get rid of him and his. I would never work with Bad Robot if I was a studio. I'd be like, no, you guys would just make trash. I'm gonna try to find the next up and comer. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And Star Wars was a complete mess. Yeah, I would just completely, if I was a studio, I'd cut off Bad Robot and never talk to them ever again. I'd just be like, no, I don't think so, you guys. Unless you have the next Spielberg, which I doubt. I don't want to talk to any of you. So those have been suspended. And if I was Zaslav, I'd terminate, save the money. I mean, that's probably the best choice at this moment in time. I think so. So we'll see how this all turns out. See if these people come back with their stuff and everything, but hopefully not. You know what I'm saying? Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about Warner Brothers suspending all of their first look deals or all their overall deals with these producers? Do you think J.J. Abrams, Mindy Kaling, and Greg Berlanti should all just be shut down and gone and everything because of the force majeure clause? I think so. I think that they haven't produced anything of substance in, like forever. So I think they should be gone. And I wouldn't feel bad for them at all. I'm sorry, you're gonna put out crappy material and you're gonna make me suffer through it. Then I think you should get gone. You know what I'm saying? But those are my thoughts, you guys. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week. You guys have a good week. Bye.